Hey, Bulls and Bears, let's talk about Netflix. Now, I've given you my opinion on Netflix. I cut Netflix out at least a couple years ago now. Not because it's terribly expensive. Actually, it's a pretty good value considering the amount of content that you get. But I like to get the best deal possible. I like to reward companies. I like to reward sellers for giving out good deals. And I've chosen to use an app for movies, more than movies, but mostly movies, an app called Tubi. That's Tubi. They run commercials. It's free. You have to sit there and watch a few commercials. But I would rather do that because I find better value in sitting and watching a couple commercials. And what you get at Tubi, I've found a lot more movies on Tubi that I found on Netflix. It's as simple as that. So if Netflix had better movies, I might think it would be worth it to pay the cost. But I find a better value in watching a few commercials and having much more content available through the Tubi app than I do Netflix. But here's what Netflix has done, and we talked about this previously. They have now cracked down on password sharing. Netflix US signups rise by the most in over 4 years as password sharing crackdown kicks in. So essentially, it looks like Netflix is squeezing more money out of their customers as much as possible. But it's not as simple as that. Some of these new signups could be the lower cost ad-based subscription that they have now. They used to just have this expensive one and you were stuck with it or take it or leave it pretty much. Now you can watch a few ads similar to Tubi. So Netflix is very smart in the way that they did this. So now people can pay a lower cost. Tubi's still better, I think, because Tubi's free. They can pay a lower cost and still get the Netflix content and just have to watch a few commercials. Now, some of you may say Netflix better. I like the exclusive movies they put out. That's your opinion. My opinion is, I get a better deal somewhere else. But nothing wrong with Netflix. I mean, entertainment's a good thing. Nothing wrong with being entertained. My thing here, I've always said, is don't go broke entertaining yourself. First things first. Like kind of like you tell your kids, do your homework and then you can play. Be able to pay your rent, to be able to pay your mortgage, to be able to pay your electricity, and then entertain yourself. That's the way I look at it. But many people do the opposite. They entertain themselves first, and then they wonder why they can't afford to buy a home or they can't afford, whatever it is that they want to buy. Here's what's being said, though, about Netflix. The company said users can share their account with someone who doesn't live with them for an additional $7.99 per month. So basically, they're tracking your IP. And if the viewers are coming from the same IP, they're going to consider that the same household. Now, just because they have the most new signups in 4 years, that's not necessarily good news. What about all the people that quit or let their subscription expire or cancel their subscription because they found out that they couldn't share their password or they couldn't let their family members, maybe family that didn't live with them, use their password, right? So it doesn't give the full picture, but we'll see how this has an effect on Netflix. In fact, here's the stock price. Recently, the stock is at about $420, but that's down from late 2021. It was at about $690. So this stock is still way off the highs. It has climbed back, though, because in mid-2022, this stock got down below $200. So it's actually doubled from the lows in 2022. So people that bet on that stock made out pretty well. And when you look at all the people now that stopped going to see movies, you can kind of see how Netflix is still very successful, even though some people say it's kind of pricey considering what you get for the money. Now, speaking of entertainment, watching movies, some people have came to the conclusion that I'm anti-entertainment. Not at all. If I look back at my life, I've spent so much money on concerts, buying music. Remember CDs, those little round things? In my teenage years, my 20s, I used to spend so much money on CDs. And sometimes a good chunk of my paycheck would go towards buying CDs. I actually collected CDs. At one point, I had a half a wall full of CDs, this is back before streaming, so I'm kind of aging myself a little bit here. But yeah, I used to spend a lot of money on music, and I used to hate it when you bought a CD, maybe a song you heard on the radio, and it's like the only good song on the CD. That's pretty lame, right? So then people started copying each other's music collections. You can put it in your computer and burn it. Remember that? You burn somebody's CD and you get their whole music collection. Now you just click a button and stream any song in the world. How times have changed. That's another thing too. A lot of people spend money on streaming music. Another form of entertainment that people can get for a pretty low cost. But let's go back to talking about movies for a minute here, and then I'll move on to more economic news. Watched a movie the other night that made me realize that things aren't so bad. Like sometimes I complain about how things are going, the cost of living, how many homeless people I have in my neighborhood, and sometimes right at the end of my driveway. You hear me talk about those things and you think I'm a negative person. You think I'm complaining. I'm not complaining so much as I'm fearful for what the future is going to be like, for us as we get older, but for our kids and our grandkids, for those that choose to have kids. I'm a little bit worried about our future generations, what kind of world they're going to have to grow up in. But anyways, back to entertainment. I watched this movie. I digress. I watched this movie called Bone Tomahawk. I thought it was a Western. I mean, it was a Western. It was based in the Old West, but it was a horrific, horrific movie. And I just wanted to put this out there because if you ever feel down or bad about your situation or the state of the world, watch this movie, because this movie these people go through some brutal, brutal things. It's more than just a Western. I'll leave it at that. It's called Bone Tomahawk, and it's pretty brutal. So word of caution out there to those that are easily, what's the word? Easily grossed out, right? You could get a little bit gross. But basically, there's a person with a broken leg who has to go on kind of a long journey. And you'll see if you watch that movie. It's pretty brutal. It's pretty sad. It's pretty horrific. So for the faint of, I do not recommend it for the faint of heart. All right, let's move on here. Aldi, the grocery store. Aldi, it's a good store, good discounts, good prices. Turning off their lights in their stores to save customers money. So have you ever walked down an aisle and it's kind of dark, and then the motion sensor sees you're coming, it detects you, then the lights come on? I think that's going to be what they're going to be doing at more stores. But it's kind of interesting. The reason they're talking about this is they're saying they're going to use this to cut down on their energy bill to save their customers money. So why are they so desperate to save their customers money? It's pretty interesting. It looks to me like another sign that these stores know that consumers are getting tapped out, and who knows, maybe Aldi is seeing an uptick in shrinkage, aka people stealing stuff, because so many people are tapped out on their credit cards. They're maxed out. They have to start stealing stuff now. Like you've seen the big uptick in thefts at a lot of these stores. Now let's talk about rising cost and shrinkflation. Not shrinkage where people steal stuff. Shrinkflation where you pay the same amount but you get less. Take a look at this. Benadryl. From 125 capsules to 100 capsules, but the size of the bottle is still the same. Pretty sneaky, Benadryl. See what they're doing here? I see that cereal too. The box will still be the same size, but then you look at the ounces, and a lot of times it's less. And sometimes they'll put this label at the top, 25% more for free. Have you ever seen that on like the top of a box of cereal? We're going to give you more, but then if you look at the ounces, it's actually less than what it was a year prior. So here's the Benadryl, same size bottle. They're going to stuff a little more cotton in there. You open it up, there's a whole bunch of cotton at the top. You look down, there's just a few pills at the bottom. That's how they get you with the bottle size. And let's talk about this meme right here. People thought I was negative. People thought I was doom and gloom. Someone actually made this meme. Paid the rent. Now I've got a place to go. Now I've got a place to starve to death. That's how people are feeling. A lot of people are feeling like that. They feel like they're working just to pay bills. They're working just to pay rent. And then they're back to where they started again after they pay off their monthly obligations, right? So it's a pretty sad situation for a lot of people. So if you're one of the people that can put more money away each month, you're putting away savings, you're the minority and you're doing something right. Now, some may argue you're not having enough fun. If you're not blowing your paycheck and going on vacations, traveling, going to amusement parks, going to sporting events, then some might say you're not having a very fun life. And I wanted to bring this up because my wife and I were talking about this the other day. We were looking around in our social circle, our group of friends, not a very big circle, pretty small group of friends. We don't have much time to hang out with a bunch of friends, right? Busy family life. But we were looking at, just people around us, people we know and engage with, even family. And we noticed that the people that have the most fun have the most debt. It's pretty boring trying to cut back and always save money. So I can see the point where people just go out and just blow all their money and just have fun and just travel and take vacations, because you could sit there at home and never go anywhere, never do anything entertaining and have money in the bank. But what good is it if your life is boring and miserable, right? Now I'm a little bit different. I can find fun things to do that are completely free. For example, if I can get a chance to go work out, go jogging, go for a hike, things that are free, go for a bike ride, outside, outdoors. I think those are great. I have fun doing those things, and then they don't cost anything. What I've always said here on this channel is don't go broke, trying to have fun, because there's plenty of free things you can do. There's plenty of free options. Going to the park and shooting baskets, free. And to me, that's fun. Now, to other people, it may be boring. They want to go take a plane flight and go to the casino. That might be your thing. That's just not my thing. But I've always encouraged people to at least think about maybe doing some free stuff, because it can be pretty fun. Getting in shape is fun. If you're working out and you haven't seen your abdominal muscles in years, and all of a sudden after a few months of heavy workout and dieting, now you can see your ab muscles. That's pretty fun. I can't really see my abs too well right now, but I know in the past when I've had time to work out, it was pretty fun looking down and seeing my abs. And also not having stuff bounce when you're riding in your vehicle. It's nice to be in shape, is what I'm saying. So there you go. All right, so let's talk about this. My last report, I talked about how I sold my gold for silver. Now, some people got the wrong impression on that, and they thought I kind of sounded like a hypocrite because I promote gold. I talk about gold IRAs. I have a sponsor that gives out gold IRAs. So I'm not saying that I don't like gold. I still love gold. All I was saying is, instead of having jewelry that's gold, I would rather sell it, which I did, and trade it in for silver. But here's the thing. The IRA company that I have as a sponsor also does silver IRAs. Now, do I think gold's bad? No, gold's awesome. I just think it's a little bit below silver right now, because I think silver is a better investment because it has more upside. But compared to sitting in fiat dollars, gold is still the place to be, absolutely. And I still have my retirement account partly in gold. I also have it mostly in silver, though, but mostly still in silver, because why? I feel there's more upside to silver. But to those that thought I was bashing gold, no, 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 no. Gold is still up at the top, right up there with silver. I just think silver is better right now because of the potential upside, and how far below the peak, the all-time high that we saw back in the 1980s when silver hit $50. So therefore, I think silver is better right now, but that could change. Silver could jump up, and then I'll think gold will be a better value, right? So just because I say I sold some gold jewelry for silver doesn't mean that I think gold is bad. No, 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 no. Gold is still an integral part of my preparation and an integral part of my retirement plans. So they just wanted to clear that up. All right, everybody. So we're going to wrap this up. Thanks for being here on this Saturday report. Please make sure you like, subscribe, come back to this channel for more updates as we're going to get through this economic, financial transformation together. And we're going to make out like bandits on the other side, because you're going to see what's going to happen when you invest wisely. All right, everybody. Big love. Keep stacking. Bye for now. Peace.